Okay. So this week has felt very different, and I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. Hiya, welcome back to Ira Gets It Together. My name is Ira, and on this channel we talk about the sorts of things that I'm doing to improve my life. Whether that be quitting smoking, becoming healthier, learning to swim, loads of stuff like that. Right now we are talking about my weight loss journey with Mounjaro, and today I'm going to give you update number 22. I'm going to talk to you about how I got on this week, what I ate, all that sort of stuff, so stick around. So I said at the start of the video that this week has felt very different, and I mean that like earnestly, because I'm at the point with Mounjaro, like it always happens. I've been on 7.5 milligrams for, well, we just done our 6th week. So I'm just going into the 7th week, and the sort of efficacy of it, the effectiveness has pretty much started to wane. So I'm getting the pangs of old Ira sort of coming back. My brain is telling me to overorder food, to overproduce food, to sort of overeat. How that manifests is, let's say for instance, I got a takeaway. For me, a takeaway is not a bad thing. I can have a takeaway in moderation. If it fits within my calories during the day, that's absolutely fine. My brain is telling me, order a large, get those onion rings extra. By the time I get them home, I couldn't eat half. So I've still got that overeat tendency in my head. And I wonder if that will be something that I like battle for the rest of my life. I was watching something on this morning when I was running the other day, and they were talking about GLP-1s, like specifically they were talking about the cost going up and all of that stuff, where it's like sort of making people kind of come off of their journey with it. The doctor was saying that like people that are on GLP-1s, just like anybody who's on any diet, they will always feel that way forever. So they will always struggle with food, but GLP-1s are really helping them in the meantime. When they come off the GLP-1s, they may find it really hard, and they may be working for the rest of their life trying to battle food noise. Do you know what? What? Do you know what? I think, honestly, I am down for the fight. I think I need to acknowledge that maybe that will always be in my life. Maybe that will always happen for me. Sorry, I'm just doing my hair. I always do my hair with you. I don't know why. If I'm always gonna battle with food noise and my tendencies, I need to understand when it happens. I need to build coping mechanisms for when it happens and how to move on from it and how to deal with it. Because if I go to a restaurant and I overorder, I'm never going to eat it all, like, especially at the moment, I'm never going to eat it all. And when I'm off GLP-1s, I will stop myself from eating all of that. So what's the point in doing it in the first place? Do you know what I mean? Why don't I just not waste food? But I think it's one of those things of old habits die hard. Like you saw it last week where I was making 2 sandwiches and knowing full well I'd probably only eat 1. And I don't know. Did you, like me, I have 6 brothers. I grew up in a house where if you left food on the table, you were in trouble. So finishing your plate was very important. Breaking that habit is a tough one to do, but I'm going to do it. So I feel like my sort of journey, when I know that I'm ready to come off a GLP-1, is when I have sort of conquered that feeling of over ordering, and also it's okay to leave your plate with food on it. I feel like that will be the sign that I'm kind of ready. And I'm certainly not there yet, but I'm getting there. I really am. I also came to a different realization this week, in that this whole journey of weight loss for me has felt kind of spiritual in a way. Now, stick with me because I'm not the sort of airy-fairy type person. I am sort of black and white. I've heard a lot of discourse, and I've seen a lot of discourse online that of things like using a GLP-1 or getting bariatric surgery or getting any help in any way whatsoever in terms of losing weight is like cheating. It's the cheater's way out. That could potentially be true. But this whole journey of losing weight and kind of becoming a different person, not because I've lost weight, but because I am so unburdened with how I look now, that it's much more than a vanity thing for me. It's allowed me to really sort of find myself in a different way and kind of start to fall in love with myself and to enjoy my body in a way that I never have in the past. And it has become so much bigger for me. And let me explain what that means. So there will be a day when I'm not on a GLP-1. And I talk about that now because I'm close to goal weight, but I know that there's going to be a while of trying to maintain the weight that I want to be at. So I know that in the future one day, there will be a time when I'm off a GLP-1 and I need to go into it with the current ethos that I have right now, which is when I eat poorly, it makes me think about myself poorly and I'm doing a disservice to myself. When I look after myself, when I eat properly, when I exercise, when I do other things that, nourish my body in terms of mental health, like going to see friends and stuff like that, I am honoring what I have and living my life. What I don't want to do is be on my deathbed and regret losing all this weight, getting to a point where I feel incredible, I feel fit, I feel healthy, I feel like I can do anything, and then just letting it go and going back on a GLP-1 and yo-yoing for the rest of my life. I am not interested in that. This is the last time I'm losing weight and I feel too good to put on weight again. It's that saying, which I think is a really toxic saying, but it went around a lot during my youth, that nothing will ever taste as good as skinny feels. And okay, it's a gross thing to say, but it's kind of true. Like, there is no pizza, there is no McDonald's, there is no burger, there is no chips, there is no donut, there is no cheesecake, there is no food that will ever make me feel the way that I do now. Why don't I enjoy those things in moderation and just not make them my whole life, and being a fit, healthy person being my whole life? I feel like we've gone very deep and philosophical this week, but that's the sort of things that are running through my head because I'm getting to a point where I'm having to think about not being on these one day, and because of the price of stuff as well, I don't want to be on them. I don't want to maintain for a really long time, because what if I don't need to? I'm really glad that I'm feeling this way because it kind of contradicts what the naysayers say. And I have naysayers in my life that say, once you come off Mounjaro, once you come off a GLP-1, you are going to put the weight back on again. But my lifestyle has shifted. I can do things now that I probably have never done in my life. And I don't want to go back to that. And yes, if I go to a pub and I sit down on a chair, I am still worried that I'm going to break that chair, but it goes away quicker and it's more forget about it quicker, and I forget about, oh, don't be silly. Whereas if I was still big, I would be like, don't make any sudden movements, this chair is going to break. I'm looking forward to the next chapter, but we are not done yet and I still need to update you on my weight loss this week, so let's get into it. So this is update number 22, and as a reminder, I am a 6'2" cisgendered man. Last week I weighed 14 stone 1. So if you want this in pounds, it is 197 pounds or 89.3 kilos. So when I weighed this morning, I weighed in at 14 stone dead on, which is 196 pounds or 89 kilos. So I have lost 1 pound or 0.3 kilos. If I was at the start of my weight loss journey, I'd have been gutted with that, but a pound is a pound. Pound is absolutely fine. I would like to lose more, but do you know what? But I'd like to lose more for a different reason. The reason now is it costs me a couple of hundred to be on Mounjaro every month. So I think I paid 100 and something pounds for my 7.5 that I'm on now, right? So to lose 1 pound, it's cost me 25 quid. Is it worth it? Yeah, I'd like to get more money, bang for my buck, if that makes sense. But I need to not think about it that way. So since Mounjaro, as a reminder, I did lose weight before I started Mounjaro, but when I started Mounjaro, I was on 19 stone 8, which is 274 pounds or 124 kilos. So since Mounjaro, I've lost 78 pounds or 35 kilos, which is a lot. Like, when I get to goal weight, it will be 80 pounds. My goal weight, as a reminder, is 13 stone 12, which is 194 pounds or 88 kilos. So that means I've got 2 pounds or 1 kilo left to lose until I'm at goal weight. Now, I've said it the whole time, when I get to goal weight, I will take a look at my body, take a look at how I feel, and then readdress and decide, do I want to lose any more weight? Do I want to put on some weight? Looking at my body right now, I know that I've got more than 2 pounds to lose for me to be really, really happy with how I look. And I'm going to be very honest with you, at this point now, my Mounjaro or my weight loss journey is a vanity situation. It truly is. The number on the scale, while important, I know that I'm spending a lot more time at the gym, so I am putting on muscle. And I know eventually, once I've run the races that I want to, I will start thinking about lifting heavier weights and putting on more muscle. So the amount that I weigh is going to start becoming more and more meaningless. It's going to be more about how do I look and how do I feel. But right now, I know that there will be a secondary goal. And what was it going to be? I think we were going to start with 12 stone 12, so another stone, so another 14 pounds lower. I think I'm just gonna assess it the whole time. Going beyond my initial goal is scary. I've never weighed this little. So, well, I have when I was a baby, but like in my adult life, I've never weighed this little. So I'm just going to judge it and just see how I feel along the way. But I don't feel like my weight loss journey is quite done yet. But I've got to be honest, I feel healthy. I feel really good. So it's very much about vanity, but for the first time in my life, I kind of deserve it and I kind of owe it to myself. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I've got 2 pounds to lose to get to goal weight. My current BMI is 25.2. And as a reminder, when your BMI is between something and 25, then you are classed as healthy. So I'm still classed as overweight and I have lost 28.3% of my body weight, which is absolutely wild. So what do I want for next week? So next week will be my 23rd update. And on my 23rd update, I would like to tell you that I've lost 1 or 2 pounds. If I've lost 2 pounds, then that means we have got to goal weight, but 1 pound will be fine. And then the week after will be a pound. Because if I manage that, then that means I've got to goal weight and I've lost 80 pounds exactly in 6 months. And then my Wegovy journey will start, which I'm really interested because the comments in the last video, a lot of people were saying, oh, I went to Wegovy, I found Wegovy really good for me. But there were some people that were really like, Mounjaro is so much better than Wegovy. And there was quite a lot of discourse about there's like a Wegovy camp and there's a Mounjaro camp. And I think it's about how your body reacts to it. And I don't know how I'm going to feel because obviously I have responded very well to Mounjaro. I don't know whether it is just because of my genetic makeup. I don't know if it is because I've done it with quite a militant attitude towards exercise and eating well under calories. I don't know if it's that or whether I'm just like quite a good responder to it. If it's the latter, if it's because like Mounjaro just works for me, if I switch over to Wegovy and it doesn't work to me, trust and believe I'll be straight back onto Mounjaro. So yeah, I guess we'll just see how it gets on. So have me in your thoughts. I'd like to lose a pound for next week. And if I do, I'll be really, really pleased with that. But 2 pounds will be chef's kiss. But I am definitely feeling more and more hungry until it's time to eat. And that's interesting. I could overeat, but I don't. Anyway, I'm going to go have a protein bar and I'm going to crack on with my day. Thanks for being with me and I'll see you next week.